A huge round of applause for Jordan Prince!
Let me get a good look at you. So many beautiful people, my God. For those who might not know, this show today almost didn't happen. Because I was only discharged from the hospital a little more than 12 hours ago, right here in Munich. Yeah, the doctors and I both thought that I had like appendicitis, that I would need surgery. It was the craziest pain I ever felt in my entire life. But in the end, this team of doctors, the only diagnosis I got from all of them was them collectively saying, "You're fat." And then I burped and I was on my way. No, but I am actually like a really big guy. I've always been a very big guy. I'm very used to it, but I do stand out like a sore thumb here in Germany. There's not a lot of chubby guys here in Germany. I'm not talking about chubby babies. Everyone loves a chubby baby. It's universal. They're adorable. Even Germans like chubby babies. To a point. Because the moment that that little baby can take its first chubby steps, next thing you know, it's got a Deutsche bag strapped to its back, a pair of waterproof boots, and a couple of parents just shoving it right onto a hiking trail. Because you must lose your baby speck. It's not adorable anymore. Baby speck. I love that word, by the way. Baby bacon. Sounds good, doesn't it? Sounds juicy. Sounds fun. It sounds really tasty. Baby bacon sounds like what they sprinkle on your pancakes on a cannibal cruise for an extra fee. Like, oh, shucks, I know it's expensive, but okay, what the heck? In America, we hold on to our bacon. I held on to my bacon. My brother held on to his bacon. Together, we would make one hell of a Memphis barbecue, okay? We would be delicious. I think about the food sometimes that my brother and I ate as children. Woof. We ate food like we'd stumbled across like a magic lamp, and when the genie came out, we wasted all 3 wishes on fudge, butter, and Pizza Hut. We ate food like how college frat guys take shots of Jägermeister. We ate food like how Germans stare at everyone. All day, all night, and without shame. Some stereotypes just are true. A lot of Americans don't eat as healthy as other people. Some stereotypes are true. A lot of Germans can be a bit more regimented, by the books, so to say. For example, I was on a vacation not too long ago with a group of Germans, and one guy on the group decided that for every single day of this trip, every morning for breakfast, he was gonna have the same hyper-healthy, super specific thing that he eats at home every day anyway. What? You mean to tell me that you're gonna look at a huge breakfast buffet? Anything you've ever wanted. And you're gonna stick with the Bircher muesli? Guys. Look, I'm not saying that shoving down butter-smothered pancakes and deep-fried French toast is the alternative either. But for the love of German Jesus, stop punishing yourselves. German Jesus, by the way, definitely a Bavarian guy. White socks, Birkenstock, zip-off cargo pants. Probably the most exhaustingly bureaucratic person to pray to ever. You have to fill out a form and they're gonna send you a code by the mail, but it never shows up. It's punishment. It's just punishment. But Germans love punishment. Germans love punishment. Germans love punishing themselves. That's why their porn is so good. Yeah, late show's got it, baby. Americans punish themselves too, but it tastes better. You know? I mean, American breakfast food is basically, it's food for the soul. It's poison for just about everything else. I mean, take a look at it, for Christ's sake. You have, scrambled eggs and bacon and 17 sticks of butter and sausage. I did move to the right country for sausage, though, let's be honest. Germans are good on the sausage front, and I'm not just talking about what you see in the saunas. That's front sausage. Germans are like sausage masters. And that's why their porn is so good. Like, seriously though, Germans, they have the access, they have the option of the unhealthy foods that we Americans are so accustomed to. But you know that the Stefans and the Silkes out there, they ain't eating it. Why would I put all of this unhealthy food into my body? Do you want that I am looking like Gerard Depardieu? Nein, I will stick to the oats that we normally save for the horses. And I will like it. Americans don't really have that critical voice in their head. Maybe we do, but we're just like chewing and breathing too loud to hear it. I don't know. Americans chose a very long time ago to stand up. Well, let's be honest, they chose to sit down. Burping and sweating. For freedom. Freedom, yeah, make that a double? Yeah, with fries. Large Coke, thanks, sunshine. All right. Germans don't have that kind of code written into their DNA, you know? For better or for worse, credit where credit is due. Germans commit. They commit. When you guys put your mind to something, you commit to it. It's 2025, and Germans are still passionately committed to shutting down every single grocery store every single Sunday. I don't really get that, especially coming from America, you know? If a German person were to have told me when I first moved here, hey man, just a heads up, every single Sunday, we shut everything down with so much intensity you would think you're watching The Purge. But it's only because on Sundays, that's when the tall tailor man from the Struwwelpeter comes out and chases people in the streets with scissors. I would be like, oh, thanks so much, dude. Lock, vault, curtain. But, you know, we live in Bavaria. A lot of us here, I do. Every single holiday, shut down. Every single grocery store on every single Sunday, shut down. And why? For one reason only. Because German Jesus said so? The Jesus that I know would never deny you a loaf of bread. The Jesus that I know would never deny you a piece of fish. We all know the story from the Bible, you sinners. He was up there on the mound breaking baguettes like a French baker, slicing up fish for the masses like he owned a sushi restaurant. When did we get the impression that Jesus would be standing at the entrance of an Aldi on a Sunday morning like, 999, you cannot come in here, you go straight to hell. Go away, you Nazi sinner, you. All I know is that my parents will not like the Jesus jokes. We grew up in a pretty Christian household, I would say. Small Christian conservative town in a region of the U.S. commonly known as the Bible Belt. Yeah, that's an appropriate response. Earlier, someone was like, woo! No woos on the Bible Belt. No, but if you don't know what that term means, basically, if you look at like the greater U.S. on a map, you can kind of draw a line right down the middle. And from the middle down, that region tends to be, generally speaking, a bit more conservative and a bit more Christian than the upper portion. However, I enjoy a very different definition of Bible Belt. From my own experience, this lower region, like myself, we tend to be a little heavier set, okay? We need a belt to keep our britches up. But let's imagine you go to church on a Sunday morning after a heaving pile of biscuits and gravy. And you know, you're gonna have to pop that belt open and let the gravy gut fly free as the Lord intended. I hope that there are some people in this room who have had that experience before, where you go to have like lunch with your friends or dinner, and you eat too much by accident, and you have to try and pop that top button and hide it with your shirt. but then even then it's not really enough, so you try to hide the belt unbuckling too. But then imagine you're on a pew in a church full of people. Here's where the Bible Belt comes in handy. How do you hide it? Well, you grab a Bible, you open up to some scripture, and you cover thy blubber. That's the Bible Belt, baby. Woot woot for blubber. No, but it's really crazy. I went to church my entire childhood, well into my teen years. Pretty different from the dry German Catholic cathedrals I have visited here over my last several years. Look, no offense, but I have to say, I'm pretty glad that I'm not Catholic. Especially here in Germany. Now listen, nothing wrong with the religion itself, but I just know I would not be able to handle that amount of guilt. I'm already apologizing for something all the time, every day, like the world's worst superpower. The apologizer with the unique ability of awkwardly excusing himself through a crowded space. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Sorry, let me just scooch past you. Let me just scooch past you. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm sorry, let me just scooch past you. Sorry. I could do that for 30 minutes and never get bored of that. No, but it's really crazy. Like in high school, I was getting in trouble all the time. So I was apologizing to my parents for something constantly. Side note, I don't like that we can't use the term high school here. In America, it's so simple. You know, it's just like, where did you go to high school? Wait, when did you graduate high school? Like, bro, you didn't finish high school? But here, you guys have so many departments and categories. It's so complicated because of course it is. I'm so glad that I didn't get educated in a system that would send me away for my bad grades, because I would have been sent away for my bad grades. But I did learn something understanding that, which is, if you're dumb, you either have to be hot or funny. Thank God I'm hot, man. Whew, thank God. By the way, by hot, I just mean I sweat through all of my clothes all of the time. Especially when I'm nervous. My God, man. Man, especially like, I think about the first big high school party I ever got invited to. You know, like that kind of high school party where it's a big deal. I did. Yeah. Still waiting for Derek to call me, actually. But there was always that kind of party, right? You know what I mean? I did not belong there. I don't really know why I was invited. I didn't know any of these cool older kids, but it's the American mentality to never ask a question. Can you imagine like a German kid coming home with a big party invitation and he's like, I do not know who it is for or why it is taking place or when it is. I just did not care so much to look into it. I picture it way more like this. Hello, Mama. I will be at Martin's parents' house on Flubistrasse at 18 Uhr on the 14th of November to celebrate his Geburtstag. Because time is merely a cruel construct to remind us mortals of the universe's inevitability. You know how teenagers talk? Like Werner Herzog? Is that why they let you guys drink from the age of 16? Because you are that self-aware and you are that nihilistic? And the government's like, no, we have to have them add to the economy. They have to have families. Give them booze now, dumb them down. I'll never get that rule, by the way. Drinking from 16? Woof. You mean to tell me that the average, everyday, on the street German that you might pass on a bus stop, I don't want to use the word Spießig, but the average German, you mean to tell me that that person at the age of 16 is just smashing booze? That doesn't check out. I was at an event recently where a German dad gave his 9-year-old son gulps of his beer. Not enough gasps and ahs at that one in here. I'm judging you guys for that one. Bavaria, what are you gonna do? But like, I saw this child drinking booze, and even my chubby alcoholic ass was like, let's pump the brakes, chief. Let's run that tape back, see if we could have found another route to take. And he saw my face, and then he started rationalizing the choice to me, which is not a good look. He was like, well, it's important because if our son gets sick, then he will not abuse it later. It's only logical. Is it? And this guy was like the most boring person I've ever met in my entire life. So that crossover is just a mystery, much like the pyramids. Am I right? Okay. No, but it was really, I can't believe that. But anyway, so I got invited to this party, right? I don't want to be noticed. I don't want to be recognized as the guy that doesn't belong there, clearly. So I'm keeping my head down. But then I am immediately pulled into a room with all of the cool older kids where I am textbook peer pressured into smoking dry, cheap, crumbly weed out of an aluminum soda can. Which, if you've never had the pleasure, do you like swallowing razor blades? I've got the solution for you. Dude, I was coughing like your neighbor's dog when they hear a weird sound in the night, just terrible. Any semblance of time, gone. It took a very, 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 very long time before reality started dripping back into my consciousness. And then I looked at my phone, and it had been hours. The worst part about that was I knew instantly I'm going to have to sleep here. Now, I think for a teenager, that sucks. You don't really know where you are. You don't really know anybody, but you know you're going to have to sleep there. Terrible feeling. And these kinds of parties, they never have a good place to sleep. There's always people laying on tops of stoves with kitchen rags as a blanket, squeezing in between like the chair and the chair's cushion like taco meat. I was just looking for some stretch of carpet in this house that wasn't wet. So I find my way upstairs in this house, right? All of the bedrooms are crammed with people, but there's a little patch of carpet in this hallway, and I go, that's for me. So I sit down, and I was actually kind of happy to be in that spot because I was aware of all of the exits. And the reason that's important is because of something I have not told you yet. It was not just a house party. No, it was a lake house party. And I've seen enough American slasher movies to recognize a recipe for murder when it is served to me on a silver platter. You kidding me? Teens, drugs, sex, alcohol, lake house, the murder writes itself. So I'm sitting down in this hallway. It's shaped a bit like an L. I'm on the short side, there's a mirror in front of me, and it's reflecting the longer side to my right. But I keep hearing this strange sound to my right down this long hallway. And I keep seeing these weird movements in the reflection in that mirror. So of course, my brain is like, well, the murderer is here. And I went into this totally bogus military brain function where I was like, all right, Jordan, so exit 1, down the stairs, past the kitchen, to the left, screen door. Exit 2, north bedroom, open the window, take the pipe, shimmy down, as if I could shimmy. The best I can do is jiggle. But I'm imagining like the worst case scenario, right? I'm imagining murder. Speaking of murder, isn't that a fun segue? One time, I was at the Munich Documentary Film Festival. Full house. The documentary we were watching was focusing on different police stations around the globe and how they were trying to implement a new software that could perhaps help them prevent these heinous crimes in their, cities, counties, whatever. So they started in Chicago. They go to Chicago, there's this grizzled, seasoned, worn down detective with a cigar. And the interviewer is like, so what have you guys been dealing with? And the detective's like, it's been fucking awful. They took this broad, they chopped her in half, and they hung up her limbs with fish hooks. And you're like, whoa, damn. And then they go to New York City. And there's this Joe Pesci guy. And I'm like, what have you been dealing with? And he's like, it was fucking crazy. They took this guy in the alley behind Marty's, and they popped his fucking brains out execution style. And then they tossed his body in the goddamn Hudson. And you're like, whoa, damn. And then they went to Munich. What is the best way to describe these two police officers? I would say perhaps the most well-slept, fresh-cut, doughy-eyed beat cops you've ever seen in your life. The interviewer goes up to them, and they're like, what have you guys been dealing with? And they looked at each other. They were like, should I? Well, we have been getting a lot of complaints. We have been getting a lot of complaints that here next to this U-Bahn, someone is stealing bicycles. What? Why would you leave them in the edit, dude? It was such a serious documentary. It was so stupid to talk to them. But anyway, I think I'm in danger in this hallway, right? I am squinting into this mirror like I think it's gonna tell me my fucking future, dude. Then I realize what's happening. There's a coat closet in that hallway. And my friend Thomas, who was the friend who originally invited me to the party, was just getting a blowjob from some girl, man. I had two immediate reactions. One was, oh, I'm not gonna die. And the other one was like, you didn't even try to close the coat closet? Like, even a little bit? Not even one of those things where you're like trying, but then like the little wheel comes off the track and you're like, no, you have to push. No, you're pulling. Just push. It's jammed, just push it. Not even a halfway thing. These are the things that keep you up at night. And you have to remember, I am really squinting into that mirror so I do not look good for what happens next. Yeah. I'm just thinking about this, dude. Yeah. So, the nanosecond that my brain registers, oh, it's just a blowjob. That is exactly when the girl, for some reason, just decides to, he's watching us! Now, I have thought for many, many years what I should have said. Perhaps what I should have done. You know, you have to understand, in her eyes, I do not look good. I look like the world's laziest pervert. I look like a guy who was just like, oh, I guess I'm gonna catch a glimpse of some cheeky pole pumping, okay. Some knob gobbling, nice. Not to be too scientific, but some swallowing of the baloney pony. Some puffing of the pink pipe. Okay, I'll stop. It was dire, man. It was life or death. But just how Matt Damon's character in Good Will Hunting, walks over to that chalkboard and solves that complicated issue with ease, I too solved mine just as gracefully and swiftly as he. I pretended to be asleep. And then I heard a second voice, and I knew it was not the blowjobber, it was the blowjobbee. My friend Thomas had finally stuck his head out of the closet to see what was postponing the business at hand. That one's for me. No. But you know what he did? He saw me in that reflection. And all he said was, oh, that's just Prince. He's cool. Men are so gross, dude. We are so disgusting. We're animals. Men will literally just let anything happen if there's a chance we can finish. It's insane. He was just like, oh, he's cool. You look so good tonight, babe. What does the Bavarian person say in that situation? Just like, oh, Entschuldigung, servus. What? Viel Spaß. But I guess if that were to have happened in Germany, it would be a completely different situation to begin with, right? Isn't that the whole point of clubs in Germany, like Kit Kat Club? The whole watching on, the whole joining in thing. By the way, for those who don't know what that is or have never been there, Kit Kat Club, not the same as the M&M store. Don't make the same mistake I did. Very different souvenir shop. I'm kidding, they would never let me in the Kit Kat Club. But I don't know if a lot of Germans know this, but in America, Germans have this crazy reputation for just being like wild, sexy maniacs. But there's nothing less sexy than talking about sex stuff in German. Have you tried it? You know what they say for having sex? Geschlechtsverkehr. I'm good. It's even crazier when you know what it means in English. Genital traffic. What? It just drives me crazy imagining that there's a world where dirty talk is taking place and that word might come up. Not that I'm good at dirty talk in any language. What am I supposed to say? Sorry for all the sweating? But there is a scenario that I have envisioned. There must have been, there must have been a situation where a German person is hooking up with a non-German speaking person. And that German person, as they're getting like down and dirty, has to at some point said, "Oh, I would like to suck your breastwarts." It must have happened. Let's look at something really easy, something really simple, right? Think about this term in English. This is a statement that everyone enjoys, the sound, "You're so pretty." Oh. Right? It's like three women like, "Oh, thank you." You're so pretty. It sounds good. Even the word pretty sounds pretty. It's giving like butterfly kisses on a summer's day in Georgia. Honey pie, you're so pretty. You know what they say in German? Du bist so hübsch. Gesundheit. Like, what? Hoops sounds like a hockey player's last name. Let's go Hoops! Hoop, 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 hoop. It does not convey to the ear what the heart is trying to express. But this is just surface level stuff, guys. You mean to tell me that some of you out there are using words like Fleischpeitsche, meat whip? I'm not even gonna go there. And excuse my pronunciation, but Fugen? Birding? For fucking? Birding sounds like a college prank where a guy sticks his thumb through his zipper and scares you. Gotcha, caca, caca! It's not hot. No one likes to be birded. I just can't get over genital traffic, dude. The fuck? Genital traffic is tough. All it does is kind of convey to me that Germans may or may not see literally everything in their lives, and I mean everything, through the lens of their oh so precious Autobahn and their auto industry. Is that why when you're driving on the Autobahn in the left lane, but the BMW driver doesn't think you're going fast enough, that they ride your ass flicking the lights? It's because they're hard. They, oh, I will be the first to finish today. I'm sorry that I painted a picture you will need therapy to erase. That's kind of your fault. Germans love their Autobahn, they love their cars. Americans love their cars too, though. Americans love driving. It's a bridge we can meet in the middle on with a car. Man, driving is like such a part of the culture in the US. My dad was teaching me how to drive a car when I was like 9 years old. You know, the age where that child drank alcohol. By the time that we got to our high school driving course, which would lead us to our like OG license, we all knew how to drive. We were 15, we were pros. And the teacher knew that because he was the high school softball coach. And he would just make us go into town for Mexican food. He'd buy us all lunch as he smoked cigs and placed college football bets over the phone. The American dream, you know? God, we love driving over there. It's really nuts, man. In America, you drive out of boredom. Isn't that crazy? Like in these small American towns, like the one that I come from, it's just not that much to do. So you would be like, hey man, want to cruise around? And then like pick up your friend and you just drive around. Woo! Someone was in the back seat a few times. What I don't see a lot of, or what I haven't seen a lot of over the years living here, are bored Germans. Especially, let's get into it, we're here in Munich, bored Bavarians. What are you so bored about? There's so much sport to be making. God forbid it's the summertime? Those bitches are outside buzzing around like a goddamn beehive. My observations, my research has taught me something. Bavarians, specifically, in the summertime, there's two breeds. The first type is going to fit into a category that I think the majority of you are going to fit into, and most Europeans for that matter. The first category is the type of person who says, oh, the sun is out. Let's go have breakfast on the terrace. Or like, oh, when I go to the office, maybe I'll take my lunch outside in the Innenhof. Or they're like, oh, I'm gonna meet, my friend for a bottle of wine and have a picnic in the park for dinner and do that weird thing where I sit on a bench and stare at the sun with my eyes closed, like I'm charging a goddamn Tesla battery. That's category one. Category two is the type of person here in Germany that the moment that there is a singular ray of sunshine coming between two clouds, they are instantly, magically perhaps, butt naked. I don't know how they do it so fast. And then they spread their legs so wide, dude. Their toes can tickle the opposing grass patches. The weirdest thing about that, besides the obvious, offering of your taint to the sun gods, I never see that type of German or person in general with a sunburn. Riddle me this, Batman. How does that work? Also, just generally speaking, I don't see a lot of Bavarians or Germans overall with sunburns. I don't get that. If I pull out my phone right now and pull up a picture of the sun on it, I'm getting a sunburn. But I am a vampire just without any of the cool, sexy stuff that comes with it. I'm a vampire, but instead of turning into fog or mist in the night, I just come early. My favorite joke in the show, by the way. I'm a vampire, but garlic fears me. I'm like if Blade mixed with Tony Soprano. I'm a daywalker, but I only use that power to go into Italian restaurants for aglio e olio. I might as well be a vampire, honestly, just based purely on the amount of sunscreen I need in order to exist. But this is the other thing, too, something that adds to the mystery. I don't see them with sunburns, and I don't see them applying sunscreen. How does that work? Well, the mystery racked my brain. So I approached a German friend of mine and I had to ask him. I had to get the inside info. So we were on a skiing trip last winter. I wasn't skiing, let's not be ridiculous. I'm much more of a holding down the table kind of guy. No, you guys go ahead, I'm gonna wrestle up some apps. You guys like jalapeno poppers? Reason being, one, skiing, don't like it at all. Number two, my first skiing experience immediately became my last skiing experience. I was a young teen, and my friend tricked me by telling me, oh man, it's your first time? Well, the beginner's practice area is way up there on the top of the mountain. So we're gonna have to take the chairlift to get there. The fact that I immediately believed him does say something about the American education system. Or me, but let's go with that. We're on the chairlift, right? We're going all the way up. We get there, it is like a professional black diamond hill, only suited for the sauciest of snow sorcerers. Which, by the way, I think we should make a petition to get rid of the word skier and just call them snow sorcerers. Doesn't it sound cooler? You're lying, because it does. The better they are, the saucier they are. Saucier. Anyway, I get up there. I've never been on skis before, and that sociopath pushes me. It did not matter how hard I drug those sticks or how diligently I held that pizza formation. I tumbled like 2 bowling balls in a washing machine. The skis went flying, the sticks snapped off, I face planted into the snow, and as I raised my head, spitting out ice, I heard my friend approaching. What do you think he said? You think it was something like, "Oh, JP, I'm sorry, bruh. Oh, Big J, I was just joking around." No. The only thing I heard from this guy as he zipped past me was, in hindsight, it's a pretty funny story, though. So I'm holding down the fort in Germany, right? At this ski place. I see this Bavarian guy come off the slopes. He sits down at a table next to me, and he takes off all of his gear and then looks directly at this blistering, unfiltered, direct sunlight, raw dogging it, mind you. No hat, no sunglasses, no sunscreen. I am waiting for his face to melt off, like when they open the Ark of the Covenant in that first Indiana Jones movie. Just like, but it doesn't happen. It's a mystery. So, my friend comes back from being a snow sorcerer, obviously, sits down with me, and I ask him this question. Hey, man, I never see them put on sunscreen, but I never see them getting sunburns. What is the trick? And the answer was perhaps the most German thing I've ever heard. He says, Schotten, it's so simple. We are reading the back of the Sonnencreme bottle because it tells you how long before you are going outside that you should put on the Sonnencreme. So we are inside and then we are putting it on and then we have a timer. And then when the timer is finished, then we know that when the timer is done, then now we are good for going outside. You guys are reading the back of a sunscreen bottle? It's like reading the manual for a dishwasher. And I know there's some German guy here who's like, what's wrong with the little lights reading before bedtime? Americans in the region that I grew up in, I don't know if I've ever even seen them buy sunscreen because they don't go outside. There's no TV outside. You know, like they just go from like the air-conditioned house to the air-conditioned car to the air-conditioned office and repeat. Can we have something in the middle? You know, Americans want AC blasting their face like a German in the basement of Berghain. I like them. And then I know Bavarians personally who would rather suffer and sizzle and simmer before they even consider buying a goddamn desk fan. I want something more in the middle. Look, I know that air conditioning is bad for the environment, but you don't understand. My first apartment that I ever had in Germany, ever, here in Munich, was on the top floor under the roof. The groan is consistent across state lines, country lines. Hear ye, hear ye. We're all but people here, aren't we? Every single city, that joke is at the same groan. It sucks. It was hot. It was so hot. I hated it. It was a pretty little apartment. It was a cute little place, but I hated that bathroom. TMI, I hated pooping. Because no matter the situation, I always emerged out of there drenched in sweat like I had just confessed to a double homicide. And I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to go in there after a guy who comes out soaked in sweat, big like me, like, it's all yours. I'm good. Dude, the shitty thing was, like, it was so hot in there because there was no ventilation. There was no airflow. All we had was this tiny little window the size of a birthday card just to taunt you. If it could talk, it would have just been like, Yeah, I guess you could open me. It's still gonna be hot and stinky in here, though. Like, the window was so useless, it might as well have just been a man in a chair in the corner doing this. Oh, stinky. It sucked, man. It was terrible. The apartment was so gorgeous. It was like reminiscent of these quaint French apartments that you see in the movies. But that bathroom ruined all the magic for me. Especially that shower, man. You know, I think a lot of us are probably privileged enough to have had at least one or multiple showers in our lifetime where you go into it thinking, I'm gonna wash the world's troubles away. Not in this shower, you're not. I had to shower bent over because there was a low-hanging wooden beam, and then right next to the shower head was the fully exposed, scalding hot water pipe, which I found a new body part to burn every single day. I was showering like fucking Quasimodo, dude. I was there like, and there was so much steam I thought I was gonna faint, and now imagine you're in there after your roommate just took a shit. The guy in the corner's like, oh no. Stinky. I'm lucky to be alive, dude. Terrible. It didn't help that my roommate was a bird person who only ate out of mason jars full of grain, seed, and what I can only describe as sand. And she was so protective of them for some reason. She would put these passive-aggressive Post-it notes on all of her jars that you would buy at an aviary. And then my cabinet was just chips and chocolate. It's like, bitch, I don't think I'm gonna come home blackout drunk one night and be like, you know what would really hit the spot? Some ground up unsalted almond powder. I don't think so. She was so crazy about that food. She had the kind of diet where I would like literally sit in my room and think to myself, how many times this week has she had diarrhea? She had the kind of diet that like squirrels would hop up onto the windowsill and just be like, and then see her food go, no, man, that's crazy. That's crazy work. I just feel so bad for the guys that went on dates with her because you know that wasn't easy. I just picture this nice guy seeing her and being like, you want to go on a date? And then they're at the restaurant and the guy just being like, oh, thanks, yeah, I think I'm gonna take that steak that you recommended and I think the salad, yeah. And what about you, babe? Do you guys collect your staff's toenail clippings? It was rough, man. I just hope that all of the waiters who have ever served her have been tipped well. Because I worked in the, gastronomical industry. Raise your hand if you've ever been a waiter or a barista, let's see here, yeah. There's a lot of people, right? So sometimes you can kind of feel it in your bones. You can kind of clock it that when a certain person walks in the door, it's gonna be a difficult customer. She was that person. I'm so glad I'm not doing that anymore. I'm surprised I got tipped at all. I was a really shitty waiter, if we're being honest. But it just wasn't for me. It was too many restaurants, it was too many cafes, it was too many difficult customers. But the most difficult customer of them all took place just before I moved to Germany. I will never forget this. So, I have 2 shifts left at my cafe job, and I'm about to move to Europe indefinitely. So I have a lot of stuff on my chest, a lot of stuff on my mind, a lot of things to think through. And it just happened to be that those last 2 days of that job were the busiest that cafe had ever had, ever. Halfway through the shift of day 1, this woman comes in, and as she gets to the counter, I pick up that she has a French accent. Now look, that's nothing out of the ordinary for New Orleans, but unbeknownst to her, I was kind of like projecting this symbol onto her of this new world I was going to enter into. She was Europe. You know, I thought she was just gonna like strut up to me like she's on a Tom Ford catwalk with an extended cigarette, like she's Cruella de Vil. Just be like, you're fat. And then storm away into a cigarette-filled cloud of Merlot and croissants. But instead, she ordered the two most horrendous, like chocolatey blubber butt butter abominations that this cafe offered. Even my fat ass was like, I don't drink those. Yeah, I did. A lot. But my colleague made the milkshakes and French lady was on her way. A few hours later, I'm taking a break. I'm in my manager's office, phone rings. I pick it up. It's French lady. I don't know her name. Let's call her Croissandra. Croissandra's really upset about these milkshakes. She says they're undrinkable. I'm like, oh, damn, okay. I was like, look, manager's rules, right? It's not my rules, it's his rules. Come in today, the same shift. While I'm here, bring your assumedly completely full cups of milkshake to me, and I will either make them again for you myself or I will give you a refund. But much like a Midwestern housewife in the 1950s, she never came. I love the delay on that one so much, dude. I could eat that like fucking snacks, man. Next day, the last day of this job, I have left my apartment. I'm staying on my friend's couch. I sold my car. I'm about to go to Europe. I have all this stuff on my mind. It's my last shift at this job that I love, that I've had through my entire college career. And it's a full house, 100 people line out the door. What do you know? French lady Croissandra enters. She storms up to the counter with, what do you think? 2 completely empty, washed out cups. Now, it does not take a rocket scientist to understand that, excuse my French, the fuck am I supposed to do with these? How do I not know that she didn't just drink them at home and she's trying to get her money back? I can't prove it. I don't care that much. But how can I prove it? I tried to explain this problem to her as softly and as calmly as I could, but it only made Croissandra angrier and angrier. She started to yell at me in this crowded cafe. Even the med students were like, huh? And then, suddenly, the scariest thing happened. Something in her eyes switched. She told me, excuse the accent, because I'm going to do it. She's like, okay. So I would like for you to make the milkshakes again. It's terrible. It's really terrible. And I will pay for them. I was like, really? You're sure? She goes, oui. So I'm back there like fucking Walter White, you know? I'm like, I make them as the best I possibly can. I bring the 2 full milkshakes to the counter, and as I'm typing in the price into the register, she takes the 2 full cups, looks me in the eye, and dumps that chocolate goop all over the counter, the register, on me, on the floor, throws up a French deuce, and storms out of the cafe. Everybody follows her out, and then collectively, they look at me. So I want to die, right? I don't know what to do. I'm frozen. Thank God for this one man, about 30 people back in the line, who pulls like an iRobot, where he's like, hmm? And he follows where she went, then he looks at me, then he says this, they look pretty good to me. What was her problem? Man, I hope that guy's getting a blowjob on a yacht every day the rest of his life, dude. Now, look, at this point, you might be thinking to yourself, oh, Jordan, it sounds like you don't like Europeans that much. You made fun of Bird Person. You made fun of Croissandra. I'll have you know, I like it here. Look at this crowd. I'm really happy to be here. I feel very welcomed here. It's a beautiful thing. And I have friends, and they're real and they're German. And that's what everyone with friends says out loud. I looked it up. But for my last story of the evening, let me just set up this a little bit, because I do have this one friend that I'm gonna rag on a little bit, but I wanna make some things certainly crystal clear. I have a friend whom I admire, I look up to, I am inspired by, I feel supported by, whom I love deeply, who I would lay down in front of train tracks for, and now all of that crap can get out of the way from my story. So I have this friend, right? A few years ago, my friend wrote a movie. And this is true. It is Academy Award nominated. I know. He insists that I tell everybody that. No, he's actually like the most humble person on the planet. But if I were Academy Award nominated, you know, dude. I'd get that shit tattooed across my neck. Handshakes, forget about it. Chest bumps, okay? He's like, what's up? Can't you read, bitch? Now, he handles his actual nomination a lot better than I handle my fictional one. But out of the kindness of his heart, when this movie was going into production, he actually called me, because it's in English, to help him or to assist him working with these real American Hollywood actors on the job. Well, that excited me quite a lot. Couldn't believe it. I'm a film student, I'm a nerd, and my friend's gonna bring me in because he's a sweet guy? Amazing, can't wait. Day one's approaching. Day one. Production's about to start. I am like in the evening going into my first day working with these Hollywood actors, one of whom I've been obsessed with, by the way, since I was like 16 years old. And at 3 a.m, I am awoken by horrific, stomach-churning diarrhea. I have to sleep the rest of the night on the toilet, constantly being like awoken by these Oppenheimer gut blasts until my alarm buzzes at 6 a.m. So, I know I cannot miss this day. I have to be there. I can't miss this. So I call an Uber to go to a pharmacy on the way to set. By the way, nicest, fanciest Uber I've ever been in my entire life. I'm sitting in the back seat. All I can do is imagine blasting it like when John Travolta blows that dude's head off in Pulp Fiction. So I get out and I go to the pharmacist, and I'm sweating, I'm pale, I'm shaking, and I say, Ich habe Durchfall. I don't like German pharmacies. It's always a story, it's always an explanation, it's always some sort of conversation. Even if I wanted to pop in there and just get some ibuprofen on a hangover day, prepare yourself for a speech from some elderly pharmacist who's gonna try and convince you that you don't need them in the first place. Are you sure? Well, you cannot eat these without eating some food first. And do not take too many, you will die. If you don't want to give me drugs, don't work at a pharmacy. It's that simple. I cannot, honest to God, I can't even believe that in Bavaria there are pharmacies. Because the classic rule of thumb for if you get sick in Bavaria comes down to 3 things. Oh, you're really sick, huh? Have you tried wearing a shawl? Oh, you're still sick? Wow. Have you thought about Stoßluften? Are you still ill? That's pretty serious. I will make you some Kräutertee. So I am crying to this pharmacist. I finally get my pills. I crush way too many of them in this Uber on the way to set, but I make it work. I made it to the job. I did it. I don't look good, but I did it. I made it. Now, wouldn't this be just like the best spot in this show to say like, well, I accomplished all of the problems and I overcame all of the most embarrassing things you could possibly experience on the dream job of your life. Cut to a few weeks later. Apparently, my writer friend and the director enjoyed my job early on enough that I was offered a second job as a background actor. Amazing, dude. So there I am, standing in Bavaria Film Studios, Hollywood actors around me. I'm there in like costume, makeup, hair, and I am losing my mind. I have a break. I go to the bathroom. I'm standing at the urinal, and dude, I'm in like a daze, right? I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, you were just this nerdy film kid in Mississippi, and then like you went to college, and this is something you always dreamed of, and you're so happy, and you're so proud of your friend, and now he's helps you put a foot into the industry door, and you're so grateful for this, and now you get to meet these people, and it's so amazing, and oh my God, it's so wonderful, and I was just so happy. And then the worst thing imaginable happened. I finished, I zipped up, and then every man in this room has had this happen at least once. Not that one, but the other one. The extra dribble of pee. Pee that you don't feel being inside there. Pee that you can't anticipate. Pee that you can't stop. And my costume is bright beige pants. The stain is so dark. You can't hide it. It looks like I spilled a jug of tea from crotch to sock. So I start freaking out, dude. I run to the bathroom stall, I shut it, I take off my pants, I throw them over the door, I'm fanning them, and now I'm cooking solutions. Okay, so what can you do? Well, it's kind of a slow day for me. Maybe I could just stay here and fan it with my hand for a couple of hours. I have my phone. Maybe they won't miss me. That's dumb because people are gonna come in and out. They're gonna see this guy fanning his pants in the bathroom for 2 hours. I was like, okay, here's what I can do. I can put the pee pants back on. I can go out the back door of the warehouse. And if someone asks, hey, Jordan, where you going? I can just say, oh, I'm just going to get something out of my car. And then I can go to my car, sit down, take the pants back off, throw them out of the window, roll the window back up with the waistband stuck, and then I can drive around like a pee-pee pirate. This was a real solution I considered. Standing there like, no, that'd be crazy because if you got busted, who wants to be a pee-pee pirate? That'd be ridiculous. And then I was like, well, maybe I can, Jordan, you're needed on set. Oh no. I am standing in a bathroom stall, covered in my own urine. On a multi-million-dollar Hollywood movie set, ladies. And I didn't know what to say. But the American in me came through and said the first thing that came to mind. Okay, thanks, I'll be right there. I waited for footsteps to fade into the distance. I put my pee pants back on, and I ran into the darkness at the side of the studio where I had a desk. At the desk, there was a chair. On the chair was my jacket. So I took the jacket, and I put it, and I tied a little knot around my waist, got the genius idea to turn it around. So now, the jacket was covering my pee stain. And then I'm gonna go to the set, I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna hope that I'm so far in the background that they can only film me from the waist up anyway. I'm just gonna say, I'm cold. Checkmate. Of course, though, the nanosecond that I get to the set, the boss lady is like, what the fuck are you doing? Take off your jacket and come sit down. Guys, I am 10 feet away from these prestigious, well-respected American Hollywood actors. The director's giving notes to the entire room, and it is glaringly obvious that I am hiding something. So I have two options. One is to quit and to cry and then to drive into oncoming traffic, which I considered heavily. And the other one was what I did. I crumbled And I told the truth that I spilled a bottle of water on my pants. The boss lady, her expression immediately softened. She moved me over to the side and she was like, oh, Jordan, you know, it's always better to tell the truth instead of trying to hide it. And I was like, you're absolutely right. I totally agree. And I was like, you know, just like, it's a little embarrassing because, you know, it looks like I pissed my pants. And then I opened the jacket and she saw the stain and she was like, don't be ridiculous. And then she waved over this young, pretty girl from the wardrobe department who then had me spread out in front of 25 crew members as they held up filming so she could take a blow dryer up and down my pant leg while the stench of urine filled the air. I knew it. She knew it. Everybody knew it. But you know, Hollywood is made of professional pretenders. Nobody to this day has ever come up and been like, you pissed your pants, right? Nobody. And it was so obvious, dude. It was so obvious. But you know, that level of dedication to story, I think, was really why it was Oscar nominated. But just imagine if I would have shit my pants, it probably would have won. Thank you so much, Munich! Thank you so much, guys. Honestly. Thank you so much. Look at these beautiful people. Wow, look at this house. Hey! Give it up for Akash Pandey. Wonderful opening act. Wow. Thank you guys so much. Look, I know it's, I would just say this and then I'm gonna let you guys go. I know it's late. Some people have to go home, but I'm gonna do about a 5-minute break and hopefully not piss my pants again. But even if I do, in about 5 minutes, I'm gonna be over in this corner, so if anyone wants to take a photo, say hi, shake hands, whatever, I'm gonna be there for whoever wants to. If you have to go, you have to go. I'm so deeply grateful that you guys are like making the greatest dream of my life come true. I love you all so much. Have a great night, and thank you for being here.